Welcome back to the PPRC podcast.
My name is Vero.
My name is Chewy.
My name is the Green Idiot. I'm gonna turn off the audio for this.
Who is currently playing Arma 3 with
Yeah.
what are you doing? Like server?
It's a Zeus map, but it's feeling a lot like an anti-Stasi mission right now.
Oh, so is there a game master? Is the Zeus active?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I wish I could be the Zeus because I have so many ideas for making my own scenarios for you guys. Extraction, VIP escort,
Yeah.
wave defense. I don't know. Stuff like that.
I think it'd be really fun for all of us to do Arma in a Zeus
Yeah, I thought you were gonna
style.
figure it out. Well, you were
Well,
talking
you
about
know
it.
what? You know what, Raro? Life happens.
Yeah, I was gonna figure it out too, but like you said, life happens.
So what's
Oh,
going on this week, guys?
well, I posted some topics because I'm the only one to post topics now. I'd say we could talk about the recent topic from Shadow GX, and that is the Reddit community for No More, no, No Man's Sky. It's a space exploration game. Okay, they posted that there's a secret boss in the latest update and a tutorial on how to reach the secret boss. But it was fake news. And the sad thing was they posted that the tutorial was released on like July 32nd, but all these news articles came out from game journalists promoting the tutorial even though it's fake.
Mm,
What do you
Uh,
mean?
was there a motive behind it?
I think they're just making I didn't look into it, but there's now people are just making fun of all the that it happened, and I guess it was like a joke, but it also goes to show how lazy and I guess there's no credibility for these game journalists if they just copy paste and republish. You know, even a bot can do that. Isn't credibility important for the at least for game journalism?
Do you think misinformation has become more of a problem, or has it always been a problem and it's only now being talked about?
I mean, it's always been a problem. What are your thoughts, Chu?
um, we're talking about game reviews.
No, like misinformation.
Misinformation by who?
Well, in this case, it's the the community trolling the game journalists, and then the
Mm,
game journalists are repeating the misinformation to other players.
mm, I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe it's funny at the beginning
Yeah, I agree with you.
because, like, the journalist should be verifying the information. It's their job.
Yeah,
Do you trust journalists?
Not entirely.
Well, in this case,
Like, like
yeah,
news is like taken with a grain of salt. Not everything is as portrayed.
right, and there's some biases. In this case, the article, like, or the news, just goes to show how, I guess, how easily misinformation can spread, and the credibility of game journalists are just took a big hit.
I don't even know what a game journalist is. What do they do?
They, they've say a game developer posts an update, and it's like a big update. They write an article and comment about it, or they like spread information, or talk
They
about
get
game
paid.
developers.
They get paid to do so.
They write for a platform, say like here, the latest article I shared is on videogames.si.com, and that is the Helldivers 2 devs talking about the balance patch controversy. So some guy, Marco, wrote a story on that.
That's
Mm.
great.
And then I guess the website makes their money off ad revenue and by people clicking into the website to read what the game journalists write.
Yeah, I believe that's how it
Okay.
works.
I mean, yeah, most news publications make their money off of advertisements, and the way to get people click is outrage content. So, it's no surprise that they would they go for sensational headlines, and I
Mhm.
think it's more likely to get misinformation that way.
At least I can find out like a new game that's interested that I'm interested in is coming out. So they say like all these remakes are coming out. There's a new update. There's a new port. Or they actually play the game, write the guides. So or write the reviews. It's a interesting hobby. I mean, work.
Wasn't there something recently about um I don't know if it was one specific journalist or just kind of the industry in general, but they get paid to say what, like, specifically about a specific game. People pay them to either write negatively or positively about it.
I mean, like similar to Amazon reviews.
Not necessarily, because there are times where um they want the game to have poor reviews so more people are talking about it.
So like
They're just
paid
generating
press.
buzz.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there was something in the news within the past 6 months about that going on.
I haven't been keeping up, so I don't know. But I guess this transitions to my other topic, which was Helldivers 2 devs are tired of apologizing for nerfs, so they are now bringing beta tests. How has that affected you guys?
I haven't been playing Helldivers at all.
I
Hmm?
haven't been playing it that much either.
Well, the story is
So to answer your
about
question, it's not affecting me very much.
reading from the article. The community has been split between very controversial about the game balancing. In the latest patch, they nerfed the flamethrowers, which was a community favorite weapon for dealing with tough enemy types, and that role was killed off by nerfs. So the developers are trying to balance Helldivers for people who want to play at like, I guess, difficulty 10. Is that a thing?
I
And
wouldn't even know.
two,
I think
is there a difficulty
hmm,
10?
there is a difficulty 10,
Okay, so
but the higher the difficulty, the less we should be fighting the enemy actually.
developers are trying
Yeah.
to balance, yes, the higher difficulties and players who want to live out a power fantasy. So with OP
But I
weapons,
don't understand the whole idea of like constantly balancing things. Like what's the purpose? Like is the enemy feel like it's unfair that four hell divers are like steamrolling them or something?
well,
I
they want developers want to make it a challenge at the higher difficulties. Otherwise, I guess the weapons feel a bit overpowered. You're just not really thinking. You're just clicking and
People want a challenge and they can just go to a higher difficulty.
yeah. The problem is either if the weapon's still too powerful in the higher difficulties, then you either buff the enemies or you nerf the weapons. That's usually the case. You can't really manipulate the player's skill. That's a different variable they cannot they do.
I mean, there are ways to manipulate people's skills. It's adding more sway to weapons and stuff like that.
Yeah, like reducing their stamina or ragdolling them like crazy.
That's more like a player nerf in terms of inherent skill.
Yeah, but the
Whether
thing is, like, for a game like that where it's PvE, does balance really, is it really that important? Is that, is it such a central concept to the game that it will make or break it? People just want to have fun.
yeah, exactly. That's why people who just want to have OP weapons, they uh they can have fun like that. Um,
How did you guys feel when Deep Rock came out with their third gen of weapons?
there's some power creep, so those weapons are slightly better than the vanilla ones,
You think
and
so?
they had some quirks to it. But if you like, even with Deep Rock Galactic, they've been changing the overclock slightly every so often and the weapons. So they're doing some weapon balancing, even though it's a PvE game.
Wasn't noticeable for DRG.
It was like, say, the Scout assault rifle. One overclock used to have 40 in the magazine, and now had 35. So it was very slight, but they
Yeah,
just
it's not noticeable.
I honestly didn't care for any of the third gen weapons. I didn't think that they were useful at all.
uh
However, eventually I did get around to I looked up some what'd you call them?
builds.
Builds, yeah, and there's one for the engineer that I used, which is pretty good.
The freaking laser was pretty
But
overpowered.
but you gotta learn how to use that.
Yeah, but like Chu,
But
you used on the gunner. You used the missiles prevalent.
Yeah.
Why did you use that over the Gatling gun and the
Uh,
autocannon?
it, it could take out armor easily. And then it has a area damage.
So that gun is like a mix between the first and second one because first one is direct damage, second one is AoE autocannon, and then the third one's like jack of
Yeah.
all trades for those areas.
So like for DRG, I don't think there really is like a meta. There isn't a meta build per se. Although some builds were like, oh, they're fun.
There are
And
meta
they mix well with other players if they know what they're doing.
there are meta builds, just not one meta build, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe besides a cryo one for the driller, but
Well, I haven't played the
even
latest
that you
update,
can.
so I don't know about
Yeah, I
DRG,
haven't played in a while either.
but they added a ton of stuff and more overclocks.
I think also the problem with DR divers is that um people don't really get to experiment.
So
Like if
like
people find something remotely effective and good, they'll just keep using it. At least that's what I would do. Because each mission is like it could be 45 minutes long. And to risk losing that mission because you have a bad build, uh, I don't think it's worth the risk.
well, in this case,
I,
people like using the flamethrower because it was fun to watch things light on fire.
Like
I
flamethrower
think
wasn't OP either because like to use it you have to walk, and then you would also might inadvertently light yourself on fire. And it's definitely not effective against like the Ball Titan.
Well, for their next uh, update, they're working. Let's see, last paragraph. For the next 2 months, they're trying to rework the fire damage mechanic to give Flamethrower back some of its power. They're going to rework the excessive ragdolling and rethink the design approach to primary weapons to make them more engaging, as well as reworking chargers.
Yeah, I
So,
found chargers are really friggin' annoying. 'Cause
so
they have no weak spot.
chargers in GTFO, they're black humanoids with horns on the head, and their weak spot was always the back. Do you not have the same thing in Helldivers?
Chargers have no weak spot.
That's annoying. So how do you kill it?
Very heavy artillery, I think. I don't know. Again, I don't play the game that much.
Yeah, well, from what I heard, the chargers have like a highlight on the back, who makes the players think it's a weak spot, but it's not actually a weak spot, is it?
You either have to burn it to death or shoot a missile at its forehead.
Oh, jeez. The whole point of a charger is so that it's armored in the front.
Yeah, so even if you like shoot the charger on the side and then like the armor is like sort of stripped off, it takes a lot to actually kill from that exposed armor. And people won't do it because why waste like entire magazines on a
Yeah, it does
single
sound tedious.
and the thing is with chargers is that they're good at chasing. Their turn radius is very good for the kind of thing that they're trying to portray, which is like a heavy tank like bug.
So can you not like circle kite it? Which
Mm,
means like kind of
not really. You have to dodge out of the way.
Yeah.
By dodging I mean like leaping out of the way.
a last minute ditch effort.
Yeah. But the thing is like you even if you get behind it, there's nothing you can really do. There's no weak spot. So what the dev should do, I think, is to make a weak spot for the charger rather than to deal with all these nerfs and balancing. Like the enemy's type itself is fundamentally flawed, in my opinion.
Well, it's on their list, so within the next 2 months, you'll probably see an update.
Yeah. But then they made it worse by adding in the what is it, the supercharger? The behemoth charger, yeah. Which is even more armored.
Oh, so that's just more like a bullet sponge. Is that what you're saying?
It's not even a sponge. It just deflects every bullet.
What the? Okay, it's a
So the
bullet.
behemoth charger is fundamentally no different than the regular charger, other than that it's just more armored.
So it's like a
And it
tank.
will take two hits to the forehead.
That sounds really annoying.
Yes.
And by 2 hits, you mean like 2 gunshots?
No, two missiles to the
Two
head.
freaking missiles? How many missiles do you get?
Uh,
Depends on
Depends on what you
what
bring.
launcher you have.
Oh, okay. I don't know the weapons of Helldivers at all, so you guys know more than I do.
Yeah. Like for the bugs, I read that it is a check of weapons, whereas for the bots, it's more of a check of skill. So if you go into a bug mission without the right weapons, you will never make it through, which is kind of stupid because we have so many weapons to choose from,
Hmm.
so many stratagems to choose from, but only some of them will ever make it through the mission because of the kind of enemy types there are.
So for you, and I guess for Green as well, you have different builds for different enemies. or you have like one
I
build.
I did not progress enough to actually have any good or standard builds. I think I'm still
I
only like level 11 or 13 or something.
How
I
does
have
progression
one
work?
build progression, and you just unlock different things
So
that
basically,
allow you to expand your playstyle.
so basically, put more
Gotta
hours into
find
it, and then like follow a tree chart.
Mm, there are some that is like locked under a tree. There are some that you can just pick whenever you want, as long as you have the resources.
You got to pay for your equipment.
Yep.
How how capitalistic.
Oh and no, I mean like everything you can unlock with in-game credits.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I didn't mean paying with actual money, because that would be a different kind of game.
But yeah, that's like the only purpose
You're
or
not
incentive for people to
suggesting that
play.
that game is about imperialism, are you?
What's about democracy? How does it feel
I'm
to be
sure.
democratic?
It's not even democracy at that point.
Okay. Oh, I still need to keep reading Starship Troopers. I haven't had time to do that in a while.
You know, like modern day democracy is not even democracy. People often confuse it as democracy, but it's not really democracy.
Yeah, I remember that talk. Not with you, with someone else.
Well, it wasn't me.
No, this is somewhere else I was reading. Well, in any case, is Helldivers 2 still playable for you guys?
I would still play it, but I'm less inclined to play it unless I have friends.
Same.
Would you seek the hard difficulty?
Not necessarily. Sometimes it's just not fun getting steamrolled by bugs.
I
Like, why am
mean,
I even playing at that point? Right?
if I were to make an analogy, it was for Deep Rock Galactic, I had basically no interest in playing below Hazard 4 because at endgame is just too easy. And so Hazard 4 would be like, the chill difficulty. Hazard 5 would be the okay, we can sweat a little bit and exercise our skill. And then Hazard 6 would be let's have some fun. My kind of fun is the challenge.
Yeah. But at some point, at some difficulty, it's no longer a challenge. It's just like being bullied.
Guess you have to get
And
used to it.
and the thing with like why I said the higher the difficulty, the more likely you are to just run away and instead of fighting is because the reinforcements can compound. So the reinforcements they spawn in, and if you don't take them out fast enough, they'll call in additional reinforcements, and they'll just exponentially get worse and worse.
So we're talking about the bugs or the robots?
Both.
Okay. And is there like a spawn cap?
No,
No.
not that I know of.
Even in GTFO and Deep Rock Galactic, there was a spawn cap of all the enemies you had on on the screen in the level because if you had more than that, it would physically lag your computer. Or maybe it's like the waves are queued up. Yeah, that was fun.
Well, yeah, for DRG, like, wasn't there some like AI director that determined that like this group is just playing too well. We gotta up the difficulty for them a little bit, right? Kind of
Uh,
like Left 4 Dead. But then that's not the case for Helldivers. It's completely dependent on how you respond to um the game in a way that like okay, if you fail to respond correctly, then you get punished.
Okay, so at least for DRG, you can kind of kill your way in Hazard 5, but you're saying in Helldivers 2, you're basically just kiting around the map and
Yes.
running away from the horde.
Yep.
So that's not fun for you.
Well, if I'm just like running around, then it's like, well, what's the point of the guns?
Yeah, right. Is there like any holding objective where you just need to sit there and click
There,
X?
there are, depending on the mission types.
So you would not be able to do that if it was has level difficulty 10.
Uh, it would be difficult, but some people might be able to like lure them away.
Okay, bait and switch. And
Yeah. And but then it would be a bad time for that person because they're the ones that get bullied.
I mean, if you're good kiting away the enemies, then tactic used in GTFO where at least before the circle kiting nerf, they you just have like one person going around a circle with the entire wave, and then everyone else is doing the scans. That way, you save ammo, and then it's just brain dead kiting.
Yeah, that's not how it should be. Like the if it's a cooperative game, we should be playing together as a team.
Yeah, you should be shooting together. You should be
Yeah.
covering those backs.
And then like even if the roles are like clearly divided, there should be still a purpose of being together.
I think Deep Rock really emphasizes the roles well.
Yeah. Like for me, like scouting with the pheromone crossbow, that would not be possible if there was no team to kill all that stuff that I group up.
If there was no gunner with the shield, then it would be really difficult to get the revives and hold.
Yeah, exactly.
I think DRG does a great job of making those class types in a way that it enhances the game when you have more people.
It's truly a masterpiece, I'd say. A well-designed game.
And like you don't even need different classes all the time. Like you could have 4 scouts, still have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as everyone brings like their own unique weapons or abilities.
Anyway, to conclude the Helldivers, they are now implementing beta test balance patches. Yay. You wanna play the beta?
No. It's like we were playing beta this entire time.
Yeah.
Exactly. You are the beta tester. Nowadays in games, everything's a beta test.
I
Nothing's.
I still think Helldivers 1 is more fun than 2.
I don't have Helldivers 1, so never played it.
Like the game design was just a lot better instead of a run and gun kind of experience or a run and kite experience.
It's on Humble Bundle as well. Okay. $20.
And then like the mech suits actually make a difference in Helldivers 1, whereas in Helldivers 2 it's more of a liability. Yeah, why don't they ever talk about buffing the mech suits? They're so worried about balance. 'Cause no one uses them for good reason. They suck.
They do. Okay.
Yeah. They're just worried about like nerfing good weapons instead of like their balancing strategy is more about nerfing than full balancing.
I am very familiar with another game that does all these weapon balancing. It's kind of sad and dumb. That is Rainbow Six Siege. PvP though, so
Yeah. Like a good game doesn't need to be go through this kind of rebalancing act. A good game is good from the straight from the box.
oh well.
Like,
You
like
can
I've never heard
always
of it. I've never heard of like balancing stuff like when I was playing like Call of Duty, at least for
Really?
the first few titles. Yeah,
Well, I guess now it's just they have more data, so they can see which weapons are picked more, and then you have I guess as one old friend will call it, the whiners, who would complain that, oh, this weapon is kind of trash, or this weapon's so good, we should just take it all the time. And I guess that conflicts with the dev's vision of any weapon can be viable, which is no.
this kind of reminds me of America's Army Free, where it's inherently unfair.
What do you mean it's
Where
unfair?
like so like in a squad of like 12 per se, there can only be like two machine gunners and uh one grenadier and one designated marksman, right? And everyone else is just a regular rifleman.
Oh, so they limit the
And
weapon
there's yeah,
amount?
and they're just assigned the guns that they get. There's no customization. You get what you get, and you work with it.
It's like
And that was the game design.
Insurgency, the original.
In some ways, but like stripping out even the customization.
Okay, okay.
Everyone is the same except for the guns that they're assigned, and you just make it work.
Okay.
Work as a team.
Well, even with Insurgency, we kind of cheesed away by just like command drop and just resupplying to get around the
Yeah.
weapon limitation. But yeah, I like the idea of limited weapons choices to per class, and that's like similar to DRG as well.
Yeah.
There's a mod that gave every class all the weapons, so even as a engineer, you can get the gunners going. I'm like, that kind of breaks the game, no?
I think Helldivers would benefit from a class system.
There's no class system.
Yes, exactly. That's why.
You just drop. Okay, I see.
Like you make your own class, whatever you want. But that makes me kind of wonder how Starship Troopers Extermination is, because that's kind of like similar in a sense where you have a team that's shooting bugs.
You can ask Anson about that. He played it. I think I did watch him, and there are some classes. It's just not as popular.
Yeah. I believe there's also some like base building aspect to it.
Yeah, the problem was they didn't have enough game modes initially for launch, so once you play like the
Yeah.
2, 3 missions, that was it.
They they launched too early.
I mean, you gotta launch early access, keep the money flowing.
It's kind of like, some companies, they IPO, right? Initial public offering. They go public,
Yeah,
but they have to do it at the right time. You can't IPO when your company is young and no one knows what the heck that your company does. You have to do it at a time when it's like, it's ripe. The economic conditions are in your favor. You have enough, you know, attention, and investor sentiment is there and all that stuff, right? And then you IPO.
I,
That's
I,
similar to games.
oh yeah, that's a very good analogy. The way to market yourself when you finally go public. So, like, even with these games that haven't come out yet, they're making general interest and they're in development and they're trying to gain fan base
Yeah.
before the product is actually released. And then I guess with like even Ready or Not, I guess they
I think Ready or Not was just marginally successful on the early access front.
it's a niche game. Not everyone plays a SWAT simulator. It's just too slow for the Call of Duty players.
But like for the Starship Troopers, I think if they had released it around now, when people are like getting fed up with Helldivers, and if they had like enough content, then I think if they had done it now, they would have been somewhat successful.
I wonder
I still,
why it didn't become popular.
Sometimes timing is everything.
Yeah. Green, what are you gonna say?
I was gonna say I'm still waiting for a co-op story mode game.
No, there's some.
Left 4 Dead.
But I will talk about the latest game
Something.
the latest game I bought, which was since Chu said Humble Bundle, I went looking for Talking and Nobody Explodes. That's an old game I used to play. I finally got it on Steam. You want to try that, Chu?
I bought a bunch of tower defense games.
Oh, so you have the money for this $7 10-year-old game about defusing a bomb?
Oh, I know what that game like. It's like when you talk to your friends, and then you could explain how to defuse the bomb, right?
Exactly. Technically, I got the DRM version, so I can probably just share it with you. But we can play on Discord now. I defuse the bomb. You help. I talk to you, and you help defuse. Get the manual, or I send you the copy of the game, and
Yeah, I'm willing to try that.
yeah, it's fun. And it actually scales up in difficulty, and there's workshop mods. So like defuse a bomb on a bus. I don't know. And I'm planning to use it for an event with some coworkers since uh we played Jackbox the other week, so this could be a different kind of cooperative game. I mean, it's how old now? Like, yeah, like I said, 10 years old, almost 10 years old, and it's normally it's $15 on Steam, but it's $6 on Humble Bundle, US dollars.
Mm.
I just can't do Morse code for life. Since we're talking about like updates and stuff, have you tried the Ready or Not update?
Um,
Like we talked
I
about a few
loaded
weeks
it.
back.
I loaded in and I got. But that's about it.
You tried the gun.
Yeah,
What about
because
the
the map.
AI?
Oh no, I didn't try that.
They updated the AI, man. That's the whole point.
We haven't been able to get together.
Oh well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Even for dueling with like Tony or Alexi or Dead Set. Playing with Dead
What's
Set's
been
fun.
making Tony so busy recently? I never see him on.
His sleep schedule is way different than ours, or is like
Is he
very
just up at
erratic.
is he just up at like 4 a.m.?
We can ask him next time. He was on the podcast last week. Were you there last week?
Was that his first appearance or
It's
second?
like a second or third.
It's more of a cameo now.
Yeah, when he usually gets on the podcast, he's usually like groggy and on his phone. So he was talking how he painted his room and had like drywall dust everywhere after come from sanding and was still trying to play a game.
Mhm.
All right, now that I have keep talking, nobody explodes. We can try one night. Well, it probably like Sunday afternoon for me and Chu.
Yeah.
Next Sunday is the first day that I'll go to second shift, so I probably won't be able to join.
Oh yeah. So Green, now that you're going to school soon, what do you think is the secret to make the most out of your school education?
What do you mean?
What is the most valuable part of going to school?
A piece of paper
Oh my god.
that you get at the end.
Is that true, Chew? The diploma's worth it?
I would say it has not been instrumental for me because I'm not in
Well,
the same field.
it's not necessarily about the piece of paper itself. It's more so that I'll get hired if I have that piece of paper, more than likely.
It's better than nothing. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I would say
But is it worth $1,100? 11,000, sorry.
that's actually not bad compared to what my engineering degree required.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a 2-year degree. Or it's supposed to be a 2-year degree. It'll probably be more than 11, but
Well, in
I
retrospect,
don't I don't
the
think it'll go over 20.
okay. In retrospect, the most valuable thing I learned in school was to make connections, which I did not do, and that will lead to more doors eventually.
Yeah,
So,
I don't really network, and it's a shame because people who network usually get really far ahead in life without actually having the merit to do so.
so go for the people green. At least
Yeah.
for me,
Go for the people.
making the connections is more worth it than actually succeeding in the degree.
Well, I mean, all but one of my classes are online, so,
Well,
you
fuck. Maybe
know,
you gotta do a club or
yeah.
something. I did a club, but wasn't really that deep. I used to be in a robotics club in high school, and that I went all in. But for college, I wanted to step back and do my own thing, so I didn't really get in detail as much. But in retrospect, I probably should have made more connections. Okay, that's my life lesson for you. Oh. So, update on the podcast. I have recreated the Spotify account, so now we are on Spotify, and the first episode is live. I am updating the old episodes to cut out the silence parts because I have the raw files, and that's gonna take some time re-uploading, recompiling, and uploading them. At least guess I can do. I'm doing the videos uploads, but I don't know. We'll see. Last week's episode should come onto YouTube tomorrow, and we now have at least I don't know. Someone's been watching our podcast, so if it's not you guys, then whoever you are,
It's
uh,
probably me.
okay. Well, the past two podcasts have one view on it, so I was like, okay, wow,
Yay, one view.
one
I'm your
view.
biggest fan right now.
You're number one right now. So that's to save the podcast. Once we're at episode 20, I'll reevaluate. That's a plan. And our last topic is how much do you know about anime genres, Chu? Or genres in general?
Me?
Yes.
I don't
Like,
know any. I don't watch anime.
well, what, like, romance is a genre, I guess, I suppose. And that's pretty much universal for any kind of show.
Yeah, romance.
Romance for Korean dramas, that's pretty popular. Um, Post on the podcast channel. This is let's go down the list. Chu, what don't you recognize? Starting from the first column. We have action, that's pretty easy. Comedy,
And
fantasy.
yeah, I mean that's like fighting, I guess.
Alright, why don't we start with things you do not know? And I guess Green, you also don't know because you don't watch
What's
anime
mech?
as well.
What is
What do you
mecha?
mean? I watched Attack on Titan. What
Yes,
else is there?
that's a normal normie
I know.
anime.
I know.
Everyone's watched Second Titan if it was popular. Mecha is about rob Mecha is like Gundam, so people ride on robots, big humanoid robots, and fight,
Oh, okay.
and different variations of it.
What is shonen? Shonen?
Shonen is it's a genre for young boys, so yeah, it's more male oriented. So at least for young guys.
Hmm, okay. Right, next. Isekai.
Isekai is a very popular one nowadays. It literally means another world. So Alexi is very familiar with this when he talks about getting hit by a truck or like dying. You are either reincarnated, transported, or you found a way into another world, usually like a game fantasy world. And
Hmm,
so, yeah, they promote reincarnation to relive your life in a different world. Be more successful, essentially.
so it's almost fantasy like.
Yeah, it combines fantasy, but the thing is, they're trying to relate to you as a person who's from this world, so that way you watch it and then enjoy, I guess, the fantasy aspect,
Okay.
like a normal RPG game. They have ones where you're literally transported to a game world, so they have the game mechanics as well and superpowers. Uh, Military, magic, psychological, sci-fi, slice of life. Do you know what that
What about
is?
avant-garde?
What? I actually,
Avant-garde.
I never heard that one actually.
Gourmet? Gourmet is not like food.
I don't know what avant-garde anime is, but since you brought it up, I'll look it up.
What's Iyashike?
All right, one at a time. So after avant-garde, gourmet, yeah, it's just food.
Um, Ma Maho Shouju? Shoujo?
Mahou shoujo literally means magical girl. So there's a whole genre about uh
Oh, that's some kinky shit.
what?
Is that some kinky shit?
No. No.
No, okay.
It's about innocent girls making a contract with some magical power and doing some there's like transformation sequence where they transfer all pretty and they go fight monsters or something. That's basically the bare bones. There's been different twists where they go through all the trials and tribulations, and sometimes it gets really friggin' dark if they wanted to, because they have to balance out the frilly pink clothing with the dark shit and their personal lives. I don't know what Yasuke is. I can look up.
It reverse harem.
Reverse harm is basically one girl and multiple guys. Yasuke is a Japanese term for healing, so it's supposed to provide a super relaxed atmosphere to the person watching. Okay.
Okay, what's seinen?
Seinen is literally meaning adult, so it's a adult themes, and you have like sex, killing, drugs, that kind of aspect.
Okay, boys love.
BL. You're gonna hear
Like
about this from
gay shit.
that's literally gay shit.
Okay. What's ecchi? Ecchi. Is it ecchi or
Etchy,
ecchi?
etchy, etchy. Etchy is it's like perverse. So etchy is the Japanese meaning for perverse, like perverted a little bit. So you
Oh,
definitely see some fan service. You definitely see some they promote the girls a lot. If you want to see that kind of genre, just for the hormones, you know.
hmm.
I like that I'm silently judging all of these, and yet I watch and enjoy Game of Thrones.
I don't watch Game
Okay.
of
which is
Thrones.
all of them.
And I guess harem is just multiple girls on one guy.
Yeah. Sometimes they're trying to, live out peacefully. Sometimes like a competition. I don't know. Usually it's just multiple girls, one guy, and rarely does the guy pick one girl. But there's like some drama around it, so
Okay.
yeah, they have different girls with different personalities. So that's literally how it is. Anything else?
Mm, Jose.
That is the opposite of seinen. Well, no, not really. It's like adult for women. So it literally means
Okay.
young woman, as opposed to shonen. Shonen is like young man. Josei is young woman. So it could be
Okay.
like the protagonist could be like a young woman, and then they have their own romance, something like that. There's a lot of things out there, man. Well, now you know.
Now I know.
If someone's trying to get you to read BL, be careful. It could be good, but it's boys' love.
Sounds illegal in some countries, honestly.
Oh, that's funny. And to go back to avant-garde, it is meaning new and unusual or experimental ideas. So I don't know about anime, but must be like different than the norm. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. I see what it means. Yeah, it stays away from the norm. Those
Okay.
are special.
Okay.
And then we have no, we don't need to go into types. These are just some genres I pulled from the pirate website I use.
Mhm.
You do what?
I watch on a pirate website.
Gasp.
Wow. I can go into a whole spiel about why piracy is number one compared to all these streaming sites. Unfortunately,
So could I. Mine would mostly be anti-capitalist, though.
yeah,
Is it considered piracy if you're not downloading it?
yeah,
Technically, yes.
yeah, because someone's uploading it to some other website and it's not on any official channel. But even getting official access is kind of a pain. Like if you need a VPN, that's gonna suck. Chew, did you bring a topic for today?
No, I did not.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Approximately what percentage of your finances do you allocate for gaming?
Less than 1%.
So
Well,
aside,
if we're just talking about purchasing a copy of a game, that's gonna be less than 1% for sure. Maybe even less than 0.5%. But as for the computer, that's like a one-time capital cost, right?
do you intend on like what's your cycle for upgrading your computer, or because this is your first computer, you have no idea.
Uh, I plan to do it once every 6 to 8 years. But then, given that like I recently just put in a little bit more RAM and more storage space, and then I feel like the games coming out nowadays, the jump in terms of hardware is not that significant.
Oh, I agree with you.
Because
The
previously, like 1 or 2 years later, and then you're gonna need a new like GPU or CPU to just keep up. But nowadays, it's like I think we've sort of plateaued.
Oh, I agree with that. Unless you're doing virtual reality, you don't need the high end
Yeah.
stuff anymore. And the only reason why you would upgrade is because if your power bill is that high, you can save a few cents or a few dollars a year by going with a power efficient card or CPU. So in a PC build, are you looking for like the best value, the best performance, or like cheapest possible?
You should go for value.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
something that's reasonably future proof at the same time won't break the budget. I don't need something that's like top of the range because top of the range will become mid end eventually.
My friends bought 4080s and 4070s. I'm like, I'm just gonna stick with AMD because it's like cheaper for one, and I didn't need the high end horsepower for the gaming. Like the car I bought is perfect for 1080p for like the next 10 years, unless something else comes out or I upgrade to like 1440p. What about you, Green? I know you just bought your graphics
I
card like 2 years ago.
I think it was last year or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I need more RAM because I think I only have 8.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but I need to update I need a new set of monitors and RAM, obviously. And then eventually I think my processor needs to be updated because I can't update to Windows 11 on my current PC.
Oh wow.
So
Why? What
I'm
processor do you have? Do you know?
I can't. I think it's a i5 seventh or fifth generation.
Fifth gen is pretty old. Seventh generation is
Uh,
decent, but yeah,
yeah,
that's aging a lot now.
yeah,
It'll still work.
it does. Does what I need it to do, which is shoot people in video games.
Yeah, can't say that online now, can we?
I mean, it's not my YouTube channel it's going on, so
Right.
being
I mean,
courteous.
I have to like edit things out now. It's gonna suck. Boo hoo. It's the end of the podcast anyway.
Well, that has been the latest episode.